Was it? Yeah. Okay, thank you. So again, good morning also from my side. So I will lead you through the rest of the slides regarding SIDC, starting with Scalability Report and Scalability topic. So as already indicated by Vladimir, we use specific, let's say, indicators for monitoring of operational data. These are related to agreed service level agreement with our IT provider. These indicators were quite listed already in the performance report part. What is important to understand is that we of course monitor or use these indicators also when we are checking the kind of future scenarios. So we are predicting the future usage of the products and loads. And then we all the time compare the results of applying this, let's say, scenario to tests which were executed in past to explore the behavior of the system for specific release along different stress test scenarios. So we have a set of stress test scenarios. We call it realistic test case scenarios, where we, in fact, of course, measure various different mix of products, variation of combination of different base loads, duration of peak for the orders receiving, and various rates of orders per second. So we have this set of stress tests, and we also simulate the scalability using realistic topology, so reflecting the future geographical extensions, including changes foreseen in the roadmap to the extent it's possible. So as noted here, the stress tests for the releases, which were until now, of course, taken into the productions, were all the time successful and giving confidence that we are on the safe side when it comes to performance of the system. If we can go to the next slide, I would just highlight that, of course, what is important to keep in mind is that not all future requests for changes can be simulated in this way, because for some requests for changes we need to first develop the feature itself to be let's say tested. And in that case, or for that case, we have a possibility to somehow assess the performance impact in other way, usually with via proof of concept, where in that case we would frequently use a possibility to develop a prototype with the IT provider, which will give us chance to really measure in an efficient way the impact of the relevant feature, and measure the impact in the sense of the SLA indicators which were mentioned before, measuring specific times of matching and so on and so on. So a good example for proof of concept are two RFCs. One is losses, where the research and development for losses is going on already since 2018 or a bit earlier, and the proof of concept for losses was performed now, and I will come back maybe with a few points on that later when I'm presenting the research and development section of the report. And also in case of cross-product matching, where is expected the significant performance impact, we are in the phase to perform kind of assessment of the impact to performance with proof of concept, to be sure that we identify the impact of the feature and also the necessary mitigation measures even before we start the development or implementation into the XBit system itself. So a similar kind of change, which has foreseen impact to performance, is of course 15 or 30 minutes resolution products. These are just configurable in XBit, but of course also here we need to check the performance impact before these changes are taken into the production. I will go into the next slide with the overview of the RFCs in the roadmap, highlighting some interesting points for RFCs now. Anyway, what I would just mention before entering into detail, I would say that it's important to keep in mind that these RFCs include intended go live period, but the go live period may be subject to revisions because we need to keep in mind all the time prioritization process, which considers the regulatory, technical, and commercial aspects. So as I said, just to highlight few RFCs and the groups as mentioned already also by Vladimir, I think that from market perspective, of course, the most interesting group is Geographical Extensions. So here we can see in principle one extension which already is done, which is related to SWAPOL link, which originally was foreseen to be part of second go live, but due to some technical aspects, sorry, can you go to the RFCs overview? Ludivine, can you go one slide? No. Yes, thank you. Yeah, thank you. So this is one, let's say, geographical extension, which was very fast. We have the major geographical extension in front of us. This is the Italian Northern Borders edition and edition of Greece, Italy, and Greece, Bulgaria. This is expected to be done in Q1 2021. And we have also here in this and some slides further on mentioned some other editions of Allegro Interconnector and Norlink Interconnector. Beside of this geographical extensions for market, I would believe is also important these changes or products extensions about 15 minutes resolution or 30 minute resolution introduction for Belgium, France, Belgium, Netherlands, and Netherlands, Germany. We have also already the extension in the roadmap regarding Nordics internal borders, which is planned to be done, if I remember well, in Q3 2022. So these are, I think, that important RFCs from market perspective. Then there are some, let's say, other RFCs to be highlighted. I think we can go to the next slide. Yeah, this is the reporting indicators. So as mentioned already by Vladimir, there is obligation from algorithm methodology that we monitor, of course, the scalability, usage, and other parameters of the algorithm. So in order to be able to do this, we need to, of course, do some design changes in the system, and this reporting indicator CR is important to be simply able to fulfill this obligation. We foresee go live of this change in Q1 2021. And the last group of RFCs, which is good to mention, are the RFCs which are part of research and development, and which would be also mentioned later on. And this is losses in this slide. And if you would go to the next slide, it's cross-product matching, which is foreseen to go live in 2021, intraday auctions at the end of 2022, respectively beginning of 2023. And then we have also 2 more flow-based support and enduring shipping solution. So I will say more a bit on these research and development RFCs in the research and development block. I would just mention here also something just for transparency reasons. The last, let's say, RFC usability improvements. You might notice that there is number of usability improvements which are important for NEMOs and TSOs because they help, for example, to increase safety of the system operation, meaning of X-bit operation, but also, of course, they simply brings more, let's say, flexibility, for example, to TSOs and NEMOs in the system operation. So these are also very important, but maybe from external side or view, it's not so relevant. There is this list is quite long, and we are let's say including these RFCs mainly in the moment when they are really decided for implementation or only for specific, let's say, release, or only when they are implemented to make the roadmap a bit more readable. So this is this on this section. I think we can go to the next part, which is about the research and development. So I already touched that. Sorry, can you go? Yeah, thank you. I already touched that we have some RFCs in the roadmap which are also part of research and development program. So you can see that there is close link. We need to keep in mind this flexibility mentioned in the part about the scalability report. So we need to keep in mind that we need to consider the regulatory needs, operational needs, and other aspects when prioritizing the changes. The major changes which are in front of us are, as already touched, enduring solution, intraday auctions, losses, cross-product matching, extension of use of 50-30 minutes products, and flow-based allocation. We usually start with high-level design, where we identify the need of research and development. But of course, this might be also identified a bit later. And we usually use the research and development part to detail the functional and technical changes design, which, as mentioned also before, we might need to also do via proof of concept. So I already mentioned where we used or intend to use the proof of concept. But I would also mention here that for the work stream on the SIDC shipping enduring solution, there is a work stream with NRAs where we cooperate with NRAs, and therefore it has also a bit different paths, but it's important to mention it. And we plan some tests concerning 15 minutes resolution and product extension, while the flow-based concept is just expected to be triggered, so there are no works triggered yet. But let's go to the next slide, and I would just mention a few more points on the topics which are in the research and development. So for the enduring shipping solution, this should address the risks related to transit shipping. So with second go live, it appeared in principle important to identify the difference between the parties who are part of the transaction and who are only transiting during the shipping. The transactions or let's say physical and financial flows between the selling and buying NEMO. So the transiting party has very limited tools to mitigate the risks, and therefore the assessment of this transit shipping enduring solution was started. We completed the high-level analysis where a number of options was kind of collected and assessed on the high level. we are now starting, in fact, the detailed analysis for let's say, options shortlist. And after, of course, this phase is completed, which is expected in principle somewhere at the end of this year, there would be a kind of decision which of the options is to be really used and considered as enduring solution, and what it means for the central or local systems. So this is this topic. The second topic, intraday auctions. Of course, there is a regulation which is setting, let's say, obligations or rules for implementation of methodology to pricing of cross-zonal intraday capacity. So we are in the phase of high-level design clarification. We expect to continue with the detailed design, let's say, in last quarter or first quarter of this year, first quarter of the next year. And of course, there is a prescribed deadline for going live with this by the algorithm methodology, which is end of or beginning of 2023. So this is the target for us right now in the work and planning. Regarding losses, I already mentioned that this is a topic in research and development for quite some time. So already from 2018 or a bit earlier, in fact. We did the proof of concept. We have still some aspects in the proof of concept which need to be clarified. The proof of concept actually shown the significant performance impacts. So we discussed or managed to discuss the mitigations with support of the IT provider, and we managed actually to find the mitigations which are expected to be sufficient for the performance impacts. Mainly hardware enhancement would be foreseen. Anyway, as I said, the proof of concept is in kind of final stage, and we are still working on some aspects. After the end of proof of concept, we would of course need to decide on the next steps and timeline when it comes to possible implementation to the production system. Cross-product matching, this is also a very important topic, especially for market participants. So of course, until now it was not so relevant because the use of 15 minutes products on interconnectors was very limited to just small areas. This will be changing at the end of this year in principle. Therefore, it's important there is possibility to match across the products, meaning like you can match 4 15-minute orders with one 60-minute order and any kind of similar combinations. So this is, as I said, this is very important. We have already some kind of high-level design available, and we are now moving to the proof of concept phase, where it's expected that the design will be in fact detailed together with the IT provider, that we will assess, as already mentioned, the performance impacts to the system, and where we will also address the possibility how this performance impacts might be mitigated. So this is status for cross-product matching. Products extension. Indeed, this is in fact just configuration changes I already mentioned, but still detailed analysis of performance impact is required. And the last block with system improvements, in fact, there is no real research here expected, but we have let's say set of packages with various changes to the system, where the design either or the implementation was already started. This is this release 3.1 or package 1.1. We completed analysis of the package 1.2, and we have still kind of in a backlog the package 2 and 3. So as I said before, these are mainly covering some usability improvements. Therefore, they are not listed in detail in the roadmap, and we will see, considering the prioritization process, when the design, respectively when the implementation would be considered relevant. So I think this is in short on my section, and we can switch to questions and answers.